This week, our taste buds are heading back to Wales as we try the Aber Falls single malt Welsh whiskey.
Yes, and to tell us all about this dram and much, much more about the distillery, we welcome their Master Blender, Kirstie McCallum.
And feel free to come and check us out on social media. We're at Whisky and Things Podcast on Instagram and at Whisky and Things on Facebook and Twitter.
And if you're having a little listen, why not give us a rating, a reviewing, and a subscribing on your favourite podcast platform? Might be this one, might be another one. We don't know. You know, it's your life. Do what you want.
You're listening to Whisky and Things with Nick Kent and Dave Giles.
Welcome to episode 121. I'm Dave Giles.
And I'm Nick Kent. Wasn't 121 a mobile phone company?
I was just about to say exactly the same thing.
121.
121. Did they get bought by BT? I think they did, didn't they? They merged in with BT. Yeah.
Something like that. Or was it BT, but it's BT Cellnet, wasn't it, at the beginning?
But wasn't 121... it doesn't really matter, does it?
It doesn't matter. Hello, listeners.
Yeah.
Welcome to this whiskey-based podcast.
I'm Dave Giles.
And I'm Nick Kent. I think we've done that bit already as well.
Have we?
Yep. You forgot
I got
last
too
week
distracted.
or 3 weeks ago, and then you've done it twice this time.
But that's why, because I knew I'd forgotten recently. I was like, I better make sure I've done that, otherwise Nick will tell me off again.
Well, there we go. Yes. Hope you're right, listeners. This is 121.
How you doing, Nick?
I'm okay, thank you. We recorded this one a few weeks ago, and it's a fun one, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the 2 episodes which were pre-recorded. We did, as I'm sure you, so if you've listened, I'm sure you know. But yeah, we got a guest today, Dave.
We do.
Did you know?
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because we're about to play
Did
the
you
interview. Know? I had an inkling. The lovely people at Aber Falls were kind enough to send us both a whole bottle of their whiskey. So we thought it was only fair to ask the Master Blender on to talk about it, you know. So yes, we have Kirstie McCallum on today, and we just finished out of having a nice little chat with her. And she's lovely, isn't she, Dave?
Absolutely delightful. I loved this interview. A lot of fun. Real lot of fun. So yeah, well, should we just press play and talk about it afterwards?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Kirstie, welcome to Whisky and Things. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no, pleasure. Thank you for giving up your time. Why don't you give our listeners a bit of a background on your whiskey origin story?
Okay, my whiskey origin story is over 20 years ago now. I don't like saying that too often. Basically, I'm a chemist, and I started working in the industry, working in labs in Portland Distillery in Glasgow. They found out I had a good nose and a good palate, trained me up, and I moved to a few different companies from there, all the time training my palate, and now I'm with Halewood as their master blender for all their whiskies.
Wow. So when did you actually kind of develop a love for whiskey then? How did you, what whiskey started you off to get that nose?
Hey, we're talking to a Scottish person.
I never assume, David. You never assume.
Okay.
My dad was a massive whiskey fan. He was really into his whiskies, and I kind of took it from him. Before I got into it big time, I was quite happy with a whiskey and coke, or just a simple serve with my whiskey. Developed as I got into the industry and grew to love it so much. And now I can't beat a good whiskey.
Absolutely.
What were your favourites then? Say growing up, but you know what I mean. Growing up in your whiskey journey, as it were, what drams were you kind of centering in on?
Well, because I was working for different companies, I was centering in on a lot of the things I was actually working on myself. So to start with, it was things like Chivas Regal, bits and pieces like that. Johnny Walker Black Label was another one that I used to enjoy a nice wee drink of. My first distillery I ever visited was actually Tobermory, which was really strange because I became the master blender for Tobermory. Wow. So it was a bit of a circular route, yeah. And it was actually the first single malt that I really got into, so it was quite interesting that way. Basically came into it through the same way as a lot of people do. You start with the bigger names that you know, the ones that maybe your dad's drank or you've seen people drinking, and then moved on from there, started experimenting and trying different drams, different distilleries, different expressions.
Absolutely. So obviously, we've made reference to the fact that you're from Scotland and you've started working in Scottish distilleries. How did you come to work or be part of the team for Aber Falls?
Basically, I started with Halewood Artisanal Spirits just a year and a half ago now, and Aber Falls is one of their distilleries. So basically, when I came on board with the group, I've come on board as group blender. So I look after Aber Falls, I look after our Krabby's whiskies, I look after our Bank Hall. So basically, all whiskies within the group come under my remit. And I've been fortunate enough to land Aber Falls, which is a real gem.
Do you feel any kind of, I don't know, weird responsibility because it's a Welsh whiskey and therefore it's slightly different to the Scotch stuff that you're doing? Is there anything that you have to consider within your work with that different label?
No, I wouldn't say so, no. I think it's very much got its own character, as all whiskies have their own characters. It very much has its own character. It's got that kind of, the dried fruit note, just really creamy compared to a lot of Scotch whiskies. It's quite a smooth whiskey as well. For me, I think the thing I love most about working with Aber Falls is getting to visit North Wales, because it's such a stunning part of the country, and the distillery itself is such a stunning distillery. Where it's situated, it's like you always think of Scottish distilleries as being in beautiful countryside and really gorgeous. Aber Falls could take them on for a run with their money. It is really a beautiful place to go and visit.
Yeah, I've been looking at the website. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah,
and Dave, it's not far. It's only about an hour and 45 minutes from me. I'm only in Manchester, so it's one I can actually maybe just nip to in a day. Yeah,
it's a very short visit. You're more than welcome. Come down and pay us a wee visit one day.
I think
a bit rude that you haven't, to be honest, Nick, if I'm brutally honest.
Well, we're here learning, aren't we, Dave? We're all learning. Stop off in Wrexham on the way through. Is that on the way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the website obviously makes a big feature of waterfalls. Is the water you're using all locally sourced? And actually, are all the ingredients locally sourced? Is that something that the distillery has tried to do?
Yes, it is. Basically, our water comes from site. We have a borehole. So we get our water from that. So it's basically the water from the falls comes down through into the borehole, and we abstract it from there. Our malt is 100% Welsh, so we're the only distilleries to use 100% Welsh malt in making our whiskey. Nice. Everything we try to do is Welsh. The team that work in the distillery, they're all Welsh, and they all come from the towns round about. In fact, our distillery managers have started places like one of them used to work for the Red Cross and things like that, so they've learned on the job at Aber Falls. So it's very much an integrated team where everything's Welsh. It's all got to do with the surrounding environment. It's all got to do with what's going on round about the local environment.
Amazing. So how long has the distillery been going? Is it one that's been quite a long time and's been kind of refurbished, or what's the deal with the history?
We've been on the go, producing whiskey for 3 years and gin for about the same amount of time as well. Basically, it was a drinks depot before, which we converted into a distillery. It's been several things. It's been part of a slate mine. It's been all sorts of things since its inception back in whenever. And now it's basically the last 3 years it's been a distillery. Amazing. I think it was even a margarine factory at one point as well.
Yeah, I read that.
Well, that would be the creaminess then.
Dear.
Sorry, I had to do it.
You're slippery customer.
So, as Master Blender, are you also involved in the gins, or have you just focused on the whiskey? Is the gins taken care of somewhere else?
I'm very much involved in drinking the gins.
Absolutely. It's all research, isn't it?
Because it's mostly the whiskey.
Whiskey! So, Dave, shall we pour a bit of this? You've been very, very kind to send Dave and I.
Mate, I've already had some.
It's nice, isn't it? To see how polite I am, just to wait. But okay, I've been enjoying
it. It actually is, as Kirstie said, it's very creamy and those fruits are right there. I'm really enjoying the smell. Kirstie, do you know if they sell a scented candle of this in the gift shop?
Here we go.
No, they don't, but that would be the bomb. That would be great.
Something I've been campaigning for a while now, but no one seems to do them.
Because it's so hard to do, to nail down this smell, Dave. That's why.
So many aromas in it, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So whilst we're having a little drink, do you want to tell us a little bit about the process of making this whiskey? Is it different in any particular way to other whiskies we have seen being made? Is there anything unique to the process for Aber Falls that we haven't seen elsewhere?
It's the same process as most distilleries, double distilled. There is one difference at Aber Falls. We have stainless steel condensers as well as copper condensers. So it basically means we can make spirit of different weights. So we can make nice, light, fruity spirit, or we can go a bit heavier and make it a little bit meatier, a bit more body. So we can play with these different characteristics when we're bringing a product together. So it gives me another string to my bow, basically, to play with. So that's the main difference between Aber Falls and a lot of the other whiskies you'll see out there, is that we have this other capacity for basically changing the spirit character.
Right.
Does that help, particularly when you're using younger spirits at the moment, obviously, just because the distillery is new? Is that helping you in that regard?
I would say what's helping me most in that regard is the wood. We've been fortunate enough that the spirit has been laid down in really good quality casks, and it's really shown as it comes through. We're not hiding the fact we're 3-year-old. The distillery is only 3, so we can't say that we're any older. But I do think it comes across as older on the palate. It's smooth. There's not that spiritiness that you sometimes get with a very young whiskey. You've got that lovely caramelly flavour coming through as well. We use a mix of virgin oak, sherry, so there's PX and Oloroso in there, and bourbon. So there's a real mix of casks in the Aber Falls.
Yeah, I was picking up the sherry without it being too much of a sherry bomb. It's definitely in there. It's nice.
That caramel kicked right through.
Yeah, they're my favourite kind of whiskey. So I am very much enjoying this. So we have currently got this one with a red label. On the website, there is the 2021 release. It says on the website, I saw there are 3 different bottles. How many different whiskies are you selling at the moment?
At the moment, we have it's 3 different whiskies. We have the one you've got there, which is our main expression. That's the one you'll see in the supermarkets and things like that. We then have another one we call it our Distiller's Cut. So it's basically, that's more specialist. So that's maybe 4 or 5 casks all put into a batch. And we'll do maybe a couple of those every year. At the moment, I think it's on an orange wine cask. So that's basically, it's an orange liqueur. One of our coverage in Spain, the guy actually makes it's the most beautiful orange liqueur you've ever tasted in your life. You basically macerate in oranges and then puts it into the cask. And when you get these casks over, it is like sniffing a chocolate orange. It's absolutely delicious. We can't use them in Scotland because it's not a traditional cask for Scotch whisky, but I got the chance to use them in Wales for the Welsh whisky. So very similar to the Lakes, had an expression out that was orange cask finished, orange wine cask finished. This is orange wine cask matured. So the whiskey's been in there for the whole 3 years. So you've got that lovely creamy note, you've got the berries and the fruit coming through for the Aber Falls, and then you've got this massive whack of chocolate orange as well. So it's quite an integrated dram, but it's still really quite delicate. And then I think the next one is going to be a Sauterne matured, so 3 years in Sauterne. Mm-hmm. The other product we have is our distillery exclusive. So basically, you can only buy it at the gift shop at the distillery or when you visit the distillery.
Like that
it's a PX cask at the moment. So that's absolutely delicious. So syrupy, lovely, lovely, rich dried fruit. Again, you get that touch of chocolate coming through on it. Absolutely delicious.
Amazing. That's, yes, you're making me want to get in the car.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nick, we need to try both of those.
Absolutely.
Especially if this is anything to go by, the single malt. This is an incredible drop. Are you enjoying it, Nick?
I'm very, very, very much enjoying it. It doesn't taste like a 3-year at all. Not that doesn't matter anymore. All the 3 years we're trying most of the time doesn't taste like a 3-year. So...
it's just so easy to drink. It's very approachable. I think it'll be a great whiskey for bringing people into the category.
I agree.
Because it's just so rounded.
Yeah.
So what is the future looking like for Welsh whiskey in general? Have you got do you personally have an opinion on that? Do you know if there are other distilleries? Obviously there's Penderyn, but do you know, is there a few more in the pipeline, or do you think it's still going to be just the two of you for a while? And maybe there's more. Sorry,
I zoomed in earlier. I had a little look. There's quite a few.
Is there loads?
Yeah,
there's 5. Right. Okay. Well, that's my ignorance.
I think it's more than 5 or 6. I put 5 or 6 on my notes, but I think there's a lot more.
So the future's looking bright, is it?
It is looking bright, yeah. I think for me, with whiskey, every country whiskey is different. Every whiskey is different. So there's room for everybody out there. And I really see Wales is coming through. They've got such a strong history in distilling. So it's nice to see that coming back and Welsh whiskey becoming a thing again. Because you look at some of the American whiskies and the founders of all probably came from Wales in the day and travelled over to America. So it's nice to see that tradition coming back to Wales.
Is there the same thing that's going on in England? There's a bit more, there's kind of like a group community effort to lift English whiskey up. Is there the same thing going on in Wales as well?
Yes, there is actually. The same as in England, they've been working on a GI for English malt. The same has been happening in Wales. There's been work going on to put in a GI in place for Welsh malt whiskey as well.
Right. Well, I hope that means you can still do the orange cask, because
I was thinking that.
So, yeah. For me, that's the great joy of Welsh whiskey as well. As in Scotland, I'm very much controlled, as I should be, because of tradition and history and everything else that goes with Scotch whiskey. On what you can use and what kind of oak, what kind of wood you can use to mature. I've got a little bit more leeway in Welsh whiskey, so I can look at using different types of wood, different non-traditional casks. So it gives me a wee bit of fun, a wee bit of experiment to play about with.
Yeah, I love that. So let's again just talk about the distillery. Do you do tours? Is there a visitor centre? Can people come along? Obviously, Nick's talked about getting down there, and is the distillery exclusive? So I'm guessing the answer is yes here.
Yes, we have a visitor centre. We do tours every day, and there's a visitor centre with an absolutely lovely cafe. The food is absolutely amazing, so it is worth a wee visit in there. We also do things like gin school and things like that, so you can go and make your own gin at Aber Falls and sit in a room with your own wee still and put your ingredients in and stuff.
Nice.
Go around the distillery. Talk to the guys. They're very, very approachable. I've never worked with a better bunch of guys, to tell the truth. They're absolutely amazing. It's great to go in and have a word with them. They'll chat away to you as you go around the distillery. So, yeah, it's well worth a visit.
Well, I don't know about you, Nick. I think I've learned loads about this already, and I definitely, this Nick gets frustrated with me, because when we're doing interviews, sometimes he loses me for a few moments.
Have you just been on there already?
I haven't bought it, but I've been tracking it down. So I found a place where I can buy the distiller's cut, because that sounds delightful. I'm hovering, Nick. I'm hovering over the purchase button. Put it that way.
Is it in the basket, mate?
It is. So, I've already spent my budget on whiskey this month. So I think a few more days and we go into a new month. So maybe I can just leave it in the basket for a few days.
What makes you have a budget? I don't have a budget. I just don't know, regret things later, to be honest. So you have a budget for whiskey?
Amazing. Regret things later. I love that.
I don't know.
Buy now, regret later. Or not, because it's such a great drop.
Enjoy it so much.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck with what you're doing at Aber Falls and all the other whiskies you're Master Blender for. So thanks very much for joining us. It's been great talking to you.
It's great to talk to you. Thank you.
You're listening to Whiskey and Things with Nick Kent and Dave Giles.
Yeah, mate, I loved that interview. I think she's great. And this whiskey is also great. And I also really want to go and visit. It sounds like such a great place.
It's quite local, mate. When are you next coming up?
Don't know. Soon, hopefully. But I haven't got a date in the diary. But yes, we need to sort that out, don't we?
Yes. North Wales. It looks beautiful on the website. It's actually really by the sea as well, I think. So, you might get that sea air in it, Dave. What you were missing from
from
Talisker.
Sure.
But they don't put it on the bottle, do they? About being tasting the sea, as far as I know.
No, but I am intrigued, because the waterfalls are all over the website, right? And obviously it's called Aber Falls, which would suggest it's something to do with waterfalls. So if it's not right by some waterfalls, I'm going to be disappointed. I'm not going to lie, Nick. Going to be disappointed.
Yeah, you don't want to hike to the waterfalls, do you?
No, I mean, at least within certain distance. Obviously, I don't expect the waterfalls to be on the distillery. That would be irresponsible building. Irresponsible, yeah.
Yeah, it would pass the building code, wouldn't it?
I don't think it would. I love this bottle as well. It's a beautiful bottle. It's got the logo of. I'm assuming it's a logo. There seems to be a couple of logos associated with this whiskey, but it's got this kind of Celtic circle thing going on, which is really nice, and that's embossed in the gold on both sides, in the glass on both sides. Gold. What am I about?
It looks gold though. It does look gold.
It does look gold
because of the liquid.
Liquid. Yeah, you're right.
It's a nice colour.
Yeah.
Yes, nice bottle. Good cork.
Good cork. Yeah. There you go. Lovely.
Got the
Solid.
Welsh Dragon on there. It's a whiskey. That's like the Anglesey Mon we had a few weeks back. This is our third Welsh whiskey, I believe. Is that right? I think so.
Yeah.
Penderyn Celt, episode 24. Whew, September 2020. That was a long time ago. And the Anglesey Mon, which is episode 99, February 2022. That's this year. Where's the time gone?
As we said, we've been drinking this 2021 single malt Welsh whiskey release. 40%.
Yeah.
And it's really fruity on the nose, isn't it, Nick? It's definitely got that sherry flavour to it on the nose. Like
yeah, there's maybe a few casks, wasn't it? PX.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was saying.
That big, rich fruitiness, red fruits, cherries, and
for 3 years, it's got none of that kind of sharp ethanol that I was expecting. You know, it's lovely. It's beautiful mouthfeel, creamy. The caramel really poked through, just like halfway, not right away. Took a couple of seconds.
It's scarily drinkable as well, isn't it? Like, I want to pour another one right now.
Yeah, it is. It's quite nutty in places as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Chocolate in there.
Yeah, it's everything about this is stuff that I like. Yeah, it's just good. It's just really, really good. Definitely some dark chocolate in there.
Yeah.
Perhaps some coffee in there as well. A little bit of coffee, perhaps.
Yeah.
And I'm not a coffee drinker, but I'm still enjoying this.
Yeah. It says that it's the, I read somewhere, I think it's on the website, that that's the first whiskey distillery in North Wales for over 100 years, Dave. But there might be a bit of controversy because, do you remember the Anglesey Mon we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think they claim, well, go back and listen to that one. I think they claim to be the first North Wales whiskey to be made in 100 or so years. So I don't want to create any beef or anything. I'm not like stirring the pot, but you guys sort that out yourselves. I think I prefer this one though, for sure.
Yeah. And very good value in my opinion.
Excellent value.
£26 is what I'm looking at online.
Okay. The Whiskey Exchange was $24.95.
Oh, even better then.
On the actual Aber Falls website, it was £28.
Oh, so it's somewhere in that range.
It's in that range. If you could buy it from their website directly from them and support them, I would. And I would applaud that if you went straight to the distillery, or actually went straight to the distillery and bought it from there.
And of course, we all know that getting an applause from Nick Kent is always valued. It's something everyone should strive to obtain at some point in their life, being applauded by Nick Kent. I actually hope that when this happens, Nick, you either send a video of you clapping to the people who have let you know they've done this, or you go and visit them personally and clap and give them the clap. That's what I'm really hoping happens.
Now you've put in a sound effect here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nick Kent, round of applause.
There
Cheers. Thanks for coming.
Nick Kent, seal of approval.
He's got other people to clap for him. That's the kind of man he is.
I just insert a sample. You're welcome.
It's
called productivity, Dave.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, good use of time. Anyway, I've been looking at this distiller's cut, the one that's been fully matured in the orange wine cask, which really sounds interesting.
Where have you found that?
I found it on Master of Malt.
Ah, okay.
For $49.95. It's not on there. It's not on the Aber Falls website anymore. It's sold out on there. It's not on the Whiskey Exchange, but it is currently on Master of Malt for £50. Now, that's obviously a step up in the price value.
Still not extravagant though, is it?
No, it's not crazy price. Yeah, if it was 70 quid, I definitely wouldn't be thinking about it. But it's under 50 quid. And the fact it's a little bit different. And the fact that, I always say this, if you get your core range right, and that's a good value, it makes you more likely to spend money on the other stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what I'm looking at. That's why I'm so tempted with this. Yeah, very, very tempted. Haven't done it yet.
Just press buy, Dave. Just press buy. Do it live on air.
No, see, I'm not gonna bow to peer pressure, mate.
Oh, come on.
No.
We
Sorry.
all know fun.
No, I'm not anymore.
Well, no, you're nearly 40.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
You don't know not fun
being
once
40.
I know. Mate, nothing's fun when you're 40 and you hate fun. You just hate fun.
I think I probably hate fun more than you do, actually, and I'm not even 40 yet. So, I think probably the old man out of the two of us.
I'm nearly 41.
Should we give this a scoring, Nick?
Oh, yeah, we're doing a show. Sure, why not?
You're listening to Whiskey and Things. These British people talk funny.
And we're back.
Solid scoring, that, mate. Solid score.
It is a solid score. I gave it a bonus point in the tingle section for the further reading. Actually, I thought it gave an extra point for that as well. What do we got up here? What we got? Yeah, solid scores all round, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in the value for money.
We're both fairly close.
You gave it a bonus on the value for money.
I did. I
Yeah.
think it's really good value for money.
Yes. So I have scored it a 68.57%. David has scored it a 74.29, giving it an average score of 71.43, which is pretty high.
Yeah,
Which
well,
puts
it jumps it above a fair amount we've got at 70%, which is good. So it's definitely in the top third,
In the top 10.
top 30%, really, of what we've done so far. And it deserves to be there. I think it's a great drop.
Absolutely.
So talking of our scorage, mate, and so actually this is interesting. This is interesting.
That's a good word. Storage.
Right. So this is a certain kind of average. You know how averages works. There's mean, mode, and median. Do you remember that from school?
I remember the words. Don't ask me to explain what they mean.
Okay, so the mean average is when you add up all the different scores and you divide it by the amount.
Yeah.
Right, the mode average is which one is the most of. So which that's, for us, it would be 70%.
Okay.
Because we've got most of our 4 whiskies have hit 70%. So that would be our mode. And then you've got the median, which is you count how many different whiskies you've scored, and the one right in the middle would be, so you put them all in a row. If you've done 24, if you've done 25, then the 13th on your list as you go down is the median.
Okay.
Right. So but what I've done is I've done a mean average, of our scoring. Obviously, this includes things that have been scored high. So you have averaged 70.07 as your score.
Is this including the last 2 weeks, Dave?
It does include the last 2 weeks, yes.
Okay, good.
I have averaged 67.89. So for me, Aberfalls is above average, and for you, Aberfalls is below average, but only just. And our combined average is 68.98. So that puts this above average.
Oh yeah, it does.
But actually, in terms of the if we were going to go for the mode,
God, there's going to be music behind this, I tell you.
Then it's above average, and it goes median. It's definitely above average. So our median score is also 70 as well. So anyway, just a bit of fun there with some.
That's how averages work, everyone.
Yeah.
No, it is interesting. It is interesting. I might speed up a
clearly
bit.
you found it really interesting.
I might speed up a bit.
I was already talking quite fast because I was aware that it's like, oh, here we go again. Dave with his stats.
I love a stat. That is interesting. That is interesting, and I say that sincerely.
Well, this is why it amazes me. You live right next to the cricket ground, and in Manchester, and you've never even gone and watched Lancaster play. What's that Lancashire play? What's that all about? Cricket is all about
it, and you got to like join clubs and stuff to get tickets.
No, you don't.
Well, that's why I looked at the website. Chili Peppers were there the other day. I didn't even go for that.
Yeah, but that's not got any stats associated with it. Cricket is all about stats.
Stats? Do you reckon Flea is the rock star that has appeared in the most films? Who isn't an actor? I don't know.
Bowie's appeared in a few.
Bowie?
Yeah. Justin Timberlake.
Harry Styles has been in one. Anyway,
I'd say Timberlake's probably been in more.
Yeah, he's a legit actor, isn't he?
He's not. He's a musician.
No, but he is. He's an actor. He's led stuff, isn't he?
And what?
Flea's not. He's like a bit part guy. He's a cameo.
All right. Well, you need to clarify your rules on this.
Sorry, I didn't plan on coming up with this.
Well, you brought it up. You brought it up.
I know. It's just making conversation. Oh, never
Excellent.
again.
Yeah,
that'll teach me.
That will teach you. Yeah,
That'll
I've decided that my next job is going to be cricket scorer. I'd like to have that as a job. I think it's probably unpaid, but that's fine. Just sit out on a Sunday afternoon watching the cricket and being the one who changes the numbers over on the scoreboard.
Sounds like a lot
Isn't
of
that a great
responsibility.
job? It's a great job.
Yeah, as long as someone brings you the beers, that's a great job. Or you have a cooler out there. I'd have a cooler.
Why do you want a beer when you've got a pencil and a pad of paper marking runs and balls and no balls?
Do you want sandwiches?
What? I'm sure at tea, you can have a sandwich.
No, you want to nibble throughout the whole thing. What's the perks of this job?
You're watching cricket all day, mate. It's a great job. You're sitting out watching cricket on your own, even better. Bit of time on your own with some cricket. Perfect job. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, going to be doing it.
Well, there we go. That's Dave's dream job, everyone.
New dream job.
New dream job.
Yeah. Anyway,
Right.
Aber Falls, done good. Looking forward to trying more of that stuff. Looking forward to drinking more of this. Thank you very much to Kirstie for coming on and talking to us about it.
Absolutely. Right. Got any other business, Dave? Any other cricket stuff you want to talk about, or stats, or no? Great. Okay, great.
Well, as we're recording this, these stats will already have become meaningless, but England just become the first team to ever challenge the whiskey.
Right, I'm going.
See you later, mate.
I'm going.
Enjoyed this whiskey. I'll speak to you next week.
Yes, you will. For episode 122. What can we make out of that?
Don't know, because we had 118, which was fun. We had 121, which was a bit of chat. 122. What's that got? 1 to 2, 2 to 2 to 2 to 2. No, I haven't got anything.
You have to wear a tutu.
Oh, there it is.
There's one.
Why do I have to wear a tutu?
Because I came up with the pun. Right. See you later, everyone. Take care of yourselves and each other and anyone else you bump into.
All right. Bye now. Cheers. Thanks for coming.
Whiskey and Things has been brought to you by And Things.